We're going to answer this question right here. What is the precious promise that Christ offered us? John 14, 1-3. Who has it?
It says, let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you that I go and prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again.
Amen.
And will take you to myself, that where I am, you may be also.
Thank you, brother. What is the promise we find here? That Christ will what? Come again. He is coming back for me and you.
Amen.
Now, how many of you guys been once tricked or lied about something like, yeah, I'll come get you, or I'll pick you up a certain time, and you forget about you, and they come like 3 days later. It's happening to me. It's happening to me. You know, it's hard to trust that person again, right? Or even believe them after that. We believe them after that. But have we ever been let down by Christ? No. Christ promised us that He will come again and take us to a place where He has prepared. I mean, it's going to be great having a mansion up there. I mean, I dream of having a mansion here. I don't know if that's realistic, but heaven will all have a little house up there. The thing is, a lot of people today find that hard to believe because of the circumstances they surround themselves with. Like we said earlier, the people losing houses, they're getting put out the houses with their families. And it's hard to imagine that one day they're going to recover that. One day. It's hard. I mean, I know you guys, sometimes we can get into dark, isolated places in our lives where just everything around us looks like it's tumbling. And you just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's some days, no? But Christ has a plan already established where all of that is going to end. The question now, it seems, is that when He returns, well, how is it that we know that He's returning? He's going to come back. Like we said earlier, we want to know when, right? We want to know when, we want to know how, we want details. We want nice details. We want to know when, how, what, how, all that. We want to know. Because for us today, it's not easy not knowing what's going to happen. We want to know. Can someone here tell me when? No, I don't want to know like an estimate. I want to know an exact time, day, and hour. Anyone can tell me today? You guys know anyone who can? Really? Because we hear all the time of people, predicting that December 22nd, 2012, they can make a movie of it. That's what we hear, right? Is that true? Is that somewhere written in this Bible? I don't know. I haven't found it. Matthew 24 is where we find one example of the signs that Christ left for us. Matthew 24. We'll start. I'm not going to read. I'm going to paraphrase a lot because this could be another sermon about the signs. But I don't want to go into too details of the signs. Remember the disciples, they asked, then when was all this going to finish? When was the return of Him coming back? When was it? And throughout the whole chapter, there's not one instance where He says, I'll come back on December 22nd, 2012. At 3 o'clock in the morning. Or whatever. Or anywhere in the Bible. So where do we get this stuff? What we need to do is not worry so much about the exact detail of the time. What we need to worry is about knowing that the time is coming. And knowing what kind of things. For example, in here we see that there's wars. We live in a world where there's wars. Even our country that we live in. All I know, one day we're against Afghanistan, then all of a sudden we're Iraq, and all of a sudden I hear about Libya. We can't even decide who we're going against them. I mean, that's sometimes just crazy. They're fighting over a little strip, the Gaza Strip, right? The Palestinians in Israel. War is over. And it's like now, almost like every day, we hear somewhere in the world, something's happening. Famine, hunger. And we always go first where? Outside the U.S. All the time, third world countries. We don't realize, you just go downtown Chattanooga, and what you see on the bridges, or in like the tent homes. We don't need to go that far. We don't need to go that far. It's happening right here around us. We sometimes forget that part. Sickness, death, illness. Almost every year there's a new sickness coming out. It went from the bird flu, the SIDS was that one time? Now to the H1N1, all that stuff. Every year there's something new coming up. How about our weather? We have the greatest weather in the world. You hear that in one side of the country, they need some water because there's the wildfires going down. And you go to another part at the same time and they're underwater. They just can't stand having no more water. And then one section you got these hurricanes, one after the other. It's almost like you get done one, it's like get ready, here's the other one coming down. And then we don't have to go that far, 3 months ago, our tornadoes around here. How many of us know people that got affected by that? A lot of people. Our world is ending just around us. Until when though? Until when is that going to happen? These all just mentioned are signs that Christ is coming. And more now than ever, he's coming soon. I mean, if you thought like he's going to come like soon, not now, it's soon. It's sooner than ever now. Because all these things we see in front of our eyes. No one knows the exact day. And I want us to, don't believe me on that. Let's go to Matthew 24, verse 42, I believe it is. 36, excuse me. Verse 36, you got that. 24, 36. And 42 as well. Anyone? Matthew 24, 36.
But of the day and the hour no man, not the angels of heaven, but my Father alone.
Who knows the exact time? Father. So that way, me and you don't have to go around putting dates. We don't have to go around putting hours, because none of us can know. We don't need to know. We just need to know that we need to be ready for this coming. And this coming is very soon. Now, what is the purpose for us, the second coming? If he's coming, it's got to be perfect. We talked about this morning about music. There's a purpose for music, yes? Now, what is the purpose for the second coming? What is the purpose for him coming for us? Let's go to Revelations 22:12. First one to find it, please get up and read it. Revelations 22:12. Revelations 22:12. Where has it? Go ahead.
And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be.
So what is the purpose of the second coming after reading that verse?
Reward.
Our reward. What is our reward in the second coming? What is it that you and I today work so hard? Why don't you and I come to church? Why do you and I read the Sabbath school lesson, read the Bible, pray? What is our reward for the end of the day? For Jesus to come for salvation, eternal life. Eternal life. That is why, because if that is not our primary goal today, if our goal is not to have a better relationship with Christ, to meet Him in heaven, we're losing our time here, my friends. We are losing our times. And we need to realize in our lives, is that our purpose? Is that our purpose? Because in that day, there are going to be two types of groups. As we can find in Matthew 25. I'm about to go there now. They're going to be at the end of times, there's going to be two groups. One on the left and one on the right. And for those of you who know on the right side, that he will say to what? To inherit the kingdom. For those who have worshiped God, who will give him the honor and the glory, who have been ready for this day, eternal life is theirs. But then there'll be the left side, who will say, depart from me, and into the everlasting fire. For those who decided, you know what, there was something else better than Christ. There was something better out there for me. But this morning, God wants us to realize that without him, there is no life. There is nothing better outside than Jesus Christ. For those of you who are outside of the church and then came to church, or have experimented going out there, you realize that when you get out there, it's not the same as in here. Because in here you have true happiness. In here you have true joy. And at the end of the day, you will have true life here in church. The question for us today is that at the end of the day, which side you want to be on, which group you want to be on. You want to be on the right side, on the left side. That's for us to decide. You know, there was a story of a traveler one day who his car broke down near a monastery. And it was very late night, he had nowhere to go, and he went inside and knocked on the door. And he explained the situation about his car breaking down. And the monk said, yeah, come on in, we'll help you out. They fed him, they gave him a place to stay. And in the morning he realized they could fix the car. But overnight, this man heard this noise, this weird noise. And he asked in the morning, hey, last night I heard this sound, what was it? And the monk said to him, oh, I'm sorry, sir, I can't tell you because you're not a monk. Well, the man left kind of, okay, fine, don't tell me. He left on his way. Well, a few years later, the same thing happened to him. His car broke down and he was near the monastery. He said, let me go back and see if they can help me out. And yeah, they helped him out, they fed him, they gave him some place, and they fixed his car again. He slept the night, and guess what happened to him again? He heard the sound. He heard the sound again, and he was wondering what it was. And he asked again, maybe this time they'll tell him around, He said, what is that sound there? I heard last night. It's just a weird sound. The monk said, I'm sorry, I can't tell you because you're not a monk. Well, he said, the traveler said, okay, what is it that I can do to be a monk? Because, at the end of the day, I don't know what sound is. What is it that I can do to be a monk? Well, he said, okay. He goes, no, you don't understand. After all these years, I left the last time I came back, I was wondering what the sound is, and I want to know what it is. He said, okay, fine. Well, first you have to travel the earth, and you have to learn the language of every tribe, nation there is in the world. Then, you must do one kind deed for every person on this world. One kind deed. And then you must climb the highest mountain there is in the world and count how many stars there is. Easy task?